Welcome back to Brawler's Guild. Today I had the rank 3 guides for you. And the first fight in rank 3 is Doomflipper, just this huge manatee. And I don't know if this guy's broken or if it's intended to be this way, but he has no abilities at all. He'll just hit you with a melee attack, and he has low HP. Usually with fights like this, it's like a DPS check fight, where they want to give it a bit more HP just to make sure you can actually pass it. But because of how low his HP is, it kind of makes me think that something's wrong with this fight. He either needs to have more HP, or he needs to have some sort of ability. Either way, it's basically a freebie, just hit him and he dies. The next fight is another return fight from Warlords of Draenor, and this is Splat, the self-replicating ooze. What this guy does is, periodically through the fight, he's going to replicate himself into another copy, and the copy's identical to him. It deals the same amount of damage, and it moves at the same speed, which is relatively slowly. Essentially, you just want to focus the main guy and kill him. Multi-dotting and AoEing is not useful here. You only need to kill the priority target, which is the larger slime. He leaves like a trail of red ooze on the ground, which deals some very, very light damage. I mean, you can make efforts to avoid it, but if you have to walk through it, it's not a big deal. The only really thing you have to worry about is the melee damage stacking up when he replicates into maybe 10 plus versions of himself. So either be ready with some sort of big nuke there, or an AoE stun, or just kite away. Just be cautious because you can actually pretty quickly die to the damage from all of the clones. So the next fight of rank 3 is the Shadowmaster Aameen, and he pretty much just has one main mechanic revolving around these shadow torches. It's a little bit of a complicated fight to grasp. So what he essentially does is he's going to cast a shadow torch on you periodically. And shortly after he casts this torch, he's going to fire a shadow blast at the torch. If the shadow blast hits you, you instantly die. And when the shadow blast hits the torch, that torch is then going to fire a shadow blast at all of the older torches. So essentially the pattern is Shadow Blast goes from the boss to the newest torch, and then it goes from the newest torch to all of the older torches in like a fan style. So I don't really have an ideal tactic for this guy. You can sort of see I just moved him around the room and I just kept moving every time he dropped a torch on me. If you don't move fast, you'll get hit with a Shadow Blast and you die instantly to that. So you just want to keep going, keep out of the path of the Shadow Blasts, and just beware of where you placed your previous torches, because you don't want to have your new torch fanning Shadow Blast out to previous ones and going through you in the process, which kills you. Overall, though, not very hard. His health is pretty low, so if you can avoid the torches, you can burn him down pretty quickly. The next fight here is Johnny Awesome, and you might be familiar with him from some of the quest lines in Hillsbrad. I thought he was a paladin in the past, but apparently he's re-rolled and he's now a hunter. So you face him and his pet Dazzle. What he's going to do is fire these volleys on you periodically. It's a damaging area on the ground, you want to move out of it, and you want to try and protect your ears because the noise from it is ridiculous. He'll do a standard shoot, which just deals damage to you, very, very basic. The primary mechanic is his ability called Power Shot. He's going to mark like an arrow on top of you, and he's going to wind up a really powerful shot. And it's kind of like the first boss in Eye of Ashara. What you want to do is get behind his pet, so the power shot goes through his pet and it will instantly kill his pet. When his pet dies, he'll start reviving the pet, and during that revival he takes 100% increased damage. So yeah, don't need to hit him until then. Just wall off the pet, get it killed by power shot, and then unload everything on him and he drops very, very quickly. And with that, you cleared rank 3, so stay tuned for my next video and the rank 4 guides.